Hello class, this is a continuation of angles in parallel lines. In the previous video we saw the three different relationships of angles within parallel lines. Let's now take a look at a few examples of applying this. Once again, you can pause the video and give this a go whenever you like. Alright, so here we go. This first one, I hope you can see, is rather simple. It is in that F shape. It's an upside down F shape. So from this we can just simply state that A must equal 100 degrees because they are corresponding angles. And as before, you'll see how to shorten writing this out. So for now, we're writing out the full geometric reasoning. They are corresponding angles. Okay, once again, here's another one. Parallel lines, I hope you can see that letter Z happening there. Okay, so that is an alternate angle. So B must equal 30 degrees. This is because they are alternate angles. And once again, I'm going to show you a short way of writing this, well, later. Okay, let's keep going. Here's another one. You can probably guess that it's going to be co-interior because the first two were corresponding and alternate. This one, as you can see, there's a letter C that holds both of them inside. So because of this, we can state that C plus 75 must equal 180 degrees because they are co-interior angles. But we're not finished because we actually want to figure out what C is equal to. Well, for this, we need to subtract 75 from both sides. Or you can just try and figure out the missing number here. But C is equal to, take away 5 is 75. 175, take away 70 is 105 degrees. So C must equal 105. Alright, so let's move on to slightly more complex problems. You can pause and give this a go yourself. A little tip for you when doing these problems, just try your best going in alphabetical order. So let's figure out what D is first. Alright, let's give this one a go. Well, it's a little tricky because we can see this parallel line here, but often it actually makes it a lot easier if we just extend lines like this. If that doesn't make it much easier, perhaps you can see that there's a C that gets both of these. Well, because of that, we can clearly see that those two are co-interior angles. So because of that, we can say D plus 120 must equal 180 degrees. Now here's the short way of writing it. It's just co-interior angles. And from that, we just need to figure out the missing value of D here. Well, we can see 60 plus 120 is 180. So D must equal 60 degrees. So we've done one of them. Now as for E, I hope you can see that there's a Z shape that gets both of these. Well, because of that, we know that E must equal 65. E must equal 65 degrees. And the reason for that, and here's the short way of doing it, is alternate angles. Oh, that's supposed to be an apostrophe. And there we have the two values of D and E with geometric reasoning. All right, down for the last two. Now remember, once again, best to try and imagine these solve these problems in alphabetical order. So X, then Y, then Z. And for this, if you can't notice it yet, there's an F shape going like this. So X must equal 72 degrees. And the reason for that, well, the F shape was corresponding. This is corresponding angles. So there's one. As for Y, there are actually two ways which you can do this. For Y, the first way that I see is actually that is a straight line. So you don't necessarily have to use properties on parallel lines. So you could just say that those two are supplementary. However, if, well, strictly sticking to parallel lines relationships, there's a C shape here. So these two must, they are co-interior angles. So we can say that X plus Y equals 180 degrees. That is co-interior angles. Since we know that X is actually is 72, we could have just replaced that and figure out that Y is going to equal 108 degrees. All right, last one. And for this, I hope you can see for the last one, there's going to be an F shape going sidewards like this. So as you can see, X and Z are equal to each other. So that means Z must equal X, which must equal 72 degrees. That is because they are corresponding angles. For this, I'm just going to remove the X like this and just say Z is 72 degrees. All right, last one. This one has 4. So for this, I highly recommend you to do this in alphabetical order. So W, X, Y, and then Z. For this, let's try our best to use only properties of parallel lines. So for the first, I hope you can see that W makes a Z like this. So that means W must equal 22 degrees, and that is alternate angles. That's the first one. The next one in alphabetical order must be X. I hope you notice that there is a C. So those two are co-interior. So we can state that X plus 53 equals 180 degrees. They are co-interior angles. And for figuring out what X is, I'm going to subtract 3 first, 73. X must be 123 degrees. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Doing Y. Now, I hope you can notice again that this is a straight line, but let's try and avoid that. Let's use strictly, as much as we can, only parallel lines relationships. From this, I hope you can see that that is another Z that's going backwards. So Y must equal 53, because that is, again, alternate angles. And so for the last one, we have this one here, Z. Now for Z, there's actually a rather tricky one to figure this one out. For this, unfortunately, you can't use parallel lines, and you would have to use either angles on this straight line or the angle sum of a triangle like this. And for this one, I'm going to use the angle sum of a triangle. So 22, which was W, Y, which is 53, and Z. So 22 plus Y, which is 53, plus Z must equal 180 degrees. That is the angle sum of triangles. And solving this, we're going to get, that's 5, that's 75. So in case you missed what I did, I added these two to become 75, and these two I just copied down here. And Z, we can figure out Z plus 75 must add up to 180. That's going to be 105. 105 degrees. Alright, so I hope they gave you an insight into angle relationships in parallel lines, as well as building on top of all the other relationships that we've seen in supplementary angles, angle sum of a triangle, etc. So I hope to see you in the next video, and best of luck.